getting some exercise and raising money for the American Cancer Society. That was the goal today at the 10th annual Making Strides Against Breast Cancer of Wichita event. Today, hundreds of people wore pink to support breast cancer awareness and took to Riverfront Stadium to walk around the concourse and raise money. This year's event featuring a Survivor Thriver lunch, mobile mammogram station, and lots of Making Strides of Wichita merchandise. American Cancer Society leaders and health professionals alike say it's nice to see so many people supporting the cause because having a strong support system is very important when battling cancer.
The support system is 100% one of the best things a breast cancer patient can have. When they start their journey, they don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. They don't know who to ask.
Really helping them understand what that appointment is. We can be there with them during those appointments and helping them understand what those appointments mean.
If you'd like to support the American Cancer Society, you can find information under the links we mentioned tab on our website, kwch.com.